The October 28th, 2020 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to an order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Here.
Mrs. Wittes,
Here.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Vieira.
Yes, we will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which republic
For which it
stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper and adequate and electronic notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and New Jersey Administrative Code Title 5, Chapter 39, Section 1.5, Notice of Remote Public Meetings as required by law.
All right, reading the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of October 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Vieira.
Yes. Consideration of ordinance, public hearing, and the final consideration. This is the second reading of the ordinance 21-20 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 325 entitled Vehicles and Traffic by amending section 325-43, Schedule 17, loading zones of the Code of the City of Long Branch Community Place. This ordinance was introduced on October 14th, 2020. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone and the representative will call you on your last three digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead. You may have to hit *6 on your phone to unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Okay. It's always a waste of time trying to get technically going. Ernest McNulty, born in 2nd Avenue in Long Branch. I own a home in Asbury Park now. I'd like to pick up with, we continue to bring up the thing about Roebuck when he was a public safety director, wearing a badge and weapon, doing a...
Excuse me, Mr. McNally, this is
a
the
public hearing
ordinance.
on an ordinance concern.
Don't make that clear, Mr. Vieira. I wish you would make it
announced
clear.
Sir, he
know.
announced it at the beginning of the.
Oh,
of the
okay.
hearing, so
Yeah, I know.
that's
It
what
makes
is.
me look like a fool. I'm not a fool. So we're talking about loading zones now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Okay. So here's my position on loading zones in the two sister cities in Monmouth County relative to the redevelopers and what's going on, the urbanization of beautiful shore towns. And it is that you're having these high density units that you're building. You're incorporating into them restaurants, bars, and things that require heavy and constant deliveries. And so what you're doing is you're encroaching on most just average homeowners in Asbury by jamming up the streets, and then you keep taking loading zones and giving them as givebacks. You do site developments to help them. So the developers get all the benefit and all the nice homeowners who pay most of the tax, unlike these developments, get stuck with loading zones and traffic and smog and accidents and people not doing COVID. I mean, a lot of times you see workers delivering stuff. They're not wearing masks. They go in businesses. It's horrible. And loading zones is the key. You created the problem by overdeveloping. How many more stores are you going to open in Pier Village? 100? How many restaurants do we need in that place? And look at all the trucks that come in there. It's creating chaos. And what do you keep doing? Accommodating them. and keep making loading zones in this zone and that zone and 2-hour parking to help the bars out, you're turning Long Branch into Asbury. I'm in Asbury 14 years as a homeowner, and the developers have destroyed it, and the developers in Long Branch are destroying it. So for me, loading zones, no more. Stop opening up stores and start building some single-family houses that don't need loading zones. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. McNolly.
You're welcome.
Do we have anybody else, Will?
No other hands raised, sir.
I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
This is the third reading of the ordinance 21-20 entitled an ordinance amending chapter 325 entitled Vehicles and Traffic by amending section 325-43 schedule 17 loading zones of the code of the city of Long Branch and Community Place. I need a motion to adopt the third and final reading as advertised according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Viera.
Yes. This is the second reading of the ordinance 22-20 entitled an ordinance amending various fees contained in a chapter 5 entitled Administration of Government, section 5-17, Public Records, and a chapter 181 entitled Food Establishments and Retail, section 181-4, License Fee of the Code of the City of Long Branch. The ordinance was introduced on October 14th, 2020. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone and a representative will call you by your last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead. You may have to dial *6 to unmute yourself.
Okay. Ernest Mignoli, born in Long Branch. I live in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I think, Council Renon, we established something. When the ordinance are a little bit tricky to understand, I thought that you, irrespective of our time, that you would give a quick synopsis for the layman out there like myself.
Oh, perfectly fine. This is an ordinance that was requested by our health department. It changes the fee for certified copies of certain records, birth and death records, civil union licenses, and also increases the plan review fee for, I believe that it is food and eating establishments that are over 10,000 square feet. It raises it to $600.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Council.
You're welcome.
So, I don't think I'm not capable of having a position on it. I think it just seems to me like bureaucracy is growing as density is growing in Long Branch. So why not raise more fees? Because when you lose money in one area, you got to try and make it in another. So, what's been going on, you're losing a lot of fees. So now you look to raise fees for building permits and things. I think that's what this is. The shame of it is that the public really never gets to see the grand scheme of mismanagement and tax abatements, how they impact everything, so that you constantly have to go back to the taxpayers and people who need to get licenses and fees and keep raising the fees to keep the other deficits going, which you create by these horrible tax abatements. So look, you guys are in the driver's seat. There's nothing I could say that would change that, except that maybe at some point you stop with all the density and start paying attention to all the single homeowners in Long Branch who really are the heart and soul of that city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McNolly.
You're welcome.
Council President, for the record, the first two fees that I outlined, these are set by state law, and we just had to conform our ordinance to it. And the last one was the fee for retail food establishments of more than 10,000 square feet. So these are not building permit fees paid by residents for their houses, for instance. They really have nothing to do with that.
Thank you, Mr. Reno.
You're welcome.
Anybody else out there, Will?
No other hands raised, sir.
I need a motion to close.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is a third reading of ordinance 22-20 entitled, "An Ordinance Amending Various Fees Contained in Chapter 5 entitled Administration of Government, Section 5-17, Public Records, and Chapter 181 entitled Food Establishments, Retail, Section 181-4, License Fee of the Code of the City of Long Branch." I need a motion to adopt the third and the final reading of this as advertised according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Viera.
Yes. Now I'm going to turn it over to Attorney Louis Reno.
Yeah, Council President, ordinance 23-20 was adopting certain amendments to the Oceanfront Broadway redevelopment plan. And it was introduced by the council and sent to the planning board. And during that time, there were certain amendments that were made. They were technical amendments, but they did change substantive provisions of the ordinance. Council has before them those changes. You also have a memo from Mr. Graviano outlining what the changes are. They are mostly clarifications. And we would therefore procedurally request that the council make a motion to amend the ordinance on second reading and carry the time for the public hearing to the November 12th meeting. And for the public, the ordinance as amended will be republished. So there'll be full notice of the meeting of November 12th. And of course, I think Mary may have posted on the website, but certainly if the public wants to see a copy of the amendments to the ordinance, they're outlined in the documents that were given to Mary, and so they can see the difference in the two. But I would request at that time that that's what happens.
Thank you, Mr. Reno. I need a motion to carry the amendment ordinance 23-20 for adoption to November 12th meeting, 2020.
Yeah, Council President, we need a motion to amend it and to carry it.
Okay. So I need a motion to amend the ordinance 23-20 for adoption, November 12th, 2020.
I want to make a motion that we, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need a roll call on the amendments, please.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Yes, who made the motion? I apologize, I didn't get that.
Bill Dangler.
Councilman Dangler did.
And who seconded, please? I'm sorry.
I think it was
I guess I did.
Woman Wittes? Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Viera.
Yes.
And now we need a motion to postpone the public hearing tonight until the November 12th meeting, at which time we will take up the adoption of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Viera.
Yes.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Reno. Ordinance for introduction. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-20 entitled.
Excuse me, Council President, I'm sorry. Mr. Raynon, is this being introduced this evening?
No, we amended the no, it's not. This was pulled from the agenda. Council was pulled from the agenda and also from the work session.
Thank you. Public participation for resolutions and general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and a representative will call you on by the last three digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Ernest McNally, born in Long Branch. I live in Asbury Park. I'd like to start off a little different. I've noticed I consider Long Branch and Asbury actually my home. And I've noticed in the political seasons, a lot of people on boards and committees, mayors, councils, judges, police chiefs, city officials, inspectors, are so heavily into politics, partisan politics. For example, a few Fridays ago, I watched a freeholder somebody running for freehold, well known in Long Branch, right, with his friend, the director of the freeholders, two Republicans, come into Asbury to a Democratic fundraiser and donate $1,000 to the Democratic three candidates that they work very well with. That to me is partisan politics. I also witnessed Senator Gopal come with his wife and his dog. He took his dog into Springwood Park that says no dogs. He let the dog relieve itself in the park. He put the dog in the car, went into the meeting, and donated $1,000. Now, I don't know what's going on with these politicians, tampering in what's supposed to be unpartisan or nonpartisan election. But here's what's going on in Long Branch and Asbury. Whatever someone's political bent is, they're afraid to express it. Because if it's not what the police chief is or the freeholders is, you're going to get your signs ripped down, you're going to get dog crap thrown on your property, and worse than that, these secret sunshine deals with tampering with money and having fundraisers and bringing the sheriff in and bringing et cetera. I won't say anymore, but it should stop, but it won't. Roebuck, we're right back to 10/29, October of 2019. Monmouth Superior Court, Mr. Lepore, who prevailed in an appeal. The case was thrown out by Roebuck, who maliciously and unlawfully and criminally arrested him at a council meeting to the cheers of the mayor, the council, the city business administrator, all the lies that they made about him. When in fact, in court, it came out that everybody was lying except Mr. Lepore and what he went through with a phony criminal police report by then public safety director, a man out of control wearing a service weapon and a captain's police badge when he resigned. What did he do? He took a leave of absence from a captain, which he was only for 6 months, by the way, and he becomes a public safety director, and he sports a weapon around in clear violation of Jordan Harvey. And Mr. Renone, let's not keep going back and forth. You know what it means. A public safety director is not supposed to carry a weapon, open, or a badge, and not supposed to function, make arrests, and sign complaints, all of which Roebuck did. So Judge O'Brien defined him as a criminal for a half an hour, impersonating an officer, driving police cars, tampering with police trying to do their business, etc., etc., etc. You've been asked by the victim to do something. You refuse time and time and time. We're starting to believe that Mr. Roebuck has infiltrated the mayor and council to the point where he's got stuff on you and you have stuff on them. So what did we create? A Snyder's Long Branch again. Everybody's got something on everybody. Now, here's where it's getting really bad. You got techs in the Long Branch schools that have been arrested now for sexual abuse, beating minors, right? Who knows if they have families. You also have in the schools an environment where, for whatever reason, to pay for these police and fire budgets that are blown out of proportion and all the tax abatements you've given, you now got what you consider rid of ancillary help, like school psychiatrists and things like that. Well, look what's happening. Students are stabbing each other to death. You got employees of the city in there dealing in kiddie porn and assaulting minors, sex offenders getting arrested. And who are they? Oh, well, they're connected to the town newspapers. One of them is Booth and O'Neill and the ex-cop, and now he's in charge of security in the school. Where are all these people with these employee sex offenders working in the Long Branch schools? And I'll tell you, no matter how you try and reach the school superintendent in Long Branch, you can't get through. You know, these people seem to think they could do what they want. They're destroying the school system. And I remember the mayor telling me, Mr. McDowell, it's such a legal and safe city for our kids to walk. No, Mayor Pallone. We thought you would help us with that.
For your comments, sir. Your time is up. Thank you, sir.
I'm done. That was 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, time flies.
Thank you.
Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Mr. IT man, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, I'm requesting 1 minute notification.
Yes, sir.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Attorney Raynon,
Yes, sir.
you were most luckily I didn't have the opportunity to respond to your comments at the last council meeting. I stand by what I said. Mr. Graviano's remarks at the last master plan meeting were, quote, verbatim. Any future tax abatements offered the oceanfront area must supply a clear and substantial public amenity benefit to the community as a whole, end quote. And Raynon, you also stated that the Kushners have nothing to do with the current contract negotiations with Seaview Towers. The
Correct.
people of this city saw the same con job on Lower Broadway when an assignment agreement of a 30-year tax abatement was provided Long Branch partners, which all eventually wound up with Kushner. The word is, Seaview Towers is in Kushner's futures. And then, Attorney Raynon, your statements were followed by Pallone's AFO erudite compliment to you, quote, you articulated that very well, end quote. And then Pallone proceeded discussing the Bluffs Development Resolution. That Bluffs Development Resolution had no tax abatements. Pallone, you continue to be consistent with your deflective, manipulating, backstabbing, lack of transparent, lying ways. You know full well, as a member of the Schneider Council, that particular developer was denied a tax abatement almost 4 years back under a ruse of an earnings per ratio per profit formula, when in reality the tax abatements were denied because of the then grudge by this city against that developer. Pallone, you said no tax abatements for the Bluffs, but in actuality, Pallone, you've provided better and more than tax abatements. Pallone, you now have a new con job because, Pallone, you're now providing a backdoor direct benefit to the developer in the form of enhanced density, high density, which equates to more profits. And if there is an argument to be made for public amenity, it's not for tax abatements. It would be in exchange for enhanced density, not only for the hyper spot zoning of the Bluffs in a redevelopment zone, but also for the spot zone Seaview Towers, in which a redevelopment zone was particularly tailored, accompanying enhanced high density. In your current contract negotiation with Seaview Towers, Team Pallone should be demanding a public amenity in exchange for the higher developer profits resulting from the enhanced higher density. And now back to you, Attorney Raynon. At the last council meeting, you clearly stated that council's position is, quote, no more tax abatements on the waterfront, period, and no tax abatements anywhere else without some substantial public benefit, end
Correct.
quote.
That's exactly
I'm going to read those last two lines again. And no tax abatements anywhere else without some substantial public benefit.
correct.
In your ridiculous countering of me, you actually acknowledged me to be proven correct. By your words, Raynon, Pallone and council are considering future quid pro quo tax abatements in this city. What are the quid pro quo projects? The fact is, the residents of this city witnessed Team Pallone's campaign on a platform of no tax abatements, period. No tax abatements, period. That's your period, Raynon. No tax abatement. There was no distinction between the oceanfront and the rest of the city as for no tax abatements. Neither you, Raynon, nor Pallone, nor this council are going to get away with attempting to put your thumb on the scale on the issue of tax abatements. No tax abatements means no tax abatements. This Pallone administration is just a continuation of more junk government.
Thank you, Mr. Lepore.
No other hands raised, Council President.
Madam Clerk, do you have received any public comment by electronic mail or written letters?
No, Council President.
I need a motion to close the public participation portion of the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We can take a list of resolutions, a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
And Mr. Vieira?
Yes. Miscellaneous, business for the good of the order. Councilman Dangler.
Yes, I would just like to remind everyone, I believe the time goes ahead on this, this early Sunday morning, late Saturday night. So please be aware of that. And with Halloween being on the weekend, I believe that is on Saturday. I just ask that everybody be safe, wear your mask. I know the children that may go out will have their mask on, their costume mask, but please make sure that they have a mask that we're told to wear just for their safety. And we want the children to have a good time, but be safe at the same time. That's it. And thank you.
Councilwoman Vogt.
Thank you,
Anita will.
Council President.
Okay, go ahead. I was gonna say you're gonna read the resolution -208-20. Go ahead.
Right.
Sorry.
This was part of the consent agenda, but it's really such an important resolution that we wanted to take some time to read it. The message is really goes to the heart of all of our residents in Long Branch. So the resolution is proclaiming November 1st, 2020 Extra Mile Day. And it reads like this: whereas the city of Long Branch is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas the city of Long Branch is a community that encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas the city of Long Branch is a community that chooses to shine a light and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who do go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas the city of Long Branch acknowledges the mission of the Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile Day cities in America, Long Branch is proud to support this effort and become part of it by proclaiming November 1st, 2020 Extra Mile Day. So therefore be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of Long Branch do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2020 to be Extra Mile Day. We urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place. And if I could start that off and invite anybody else that wants to contribute to this, I'd like to recognize two people for going the extra mile, unknowingly putting in the effort. One person is Michael Horning, who actually walks the boardwalk most days. And because he gets a little bored walking the boardwalk, he actually has started picking up garbage, cigarette butts and papers and everything along the boardwalk to help clean up and go the extra mile in keeping our city clean. And the other person that I want to recognize is Susan Davies, who is actually the mayor's assistant for, again, just part of her nature, going the extra mile with projects, doing things above and beyond what is requested. So thanks to both of those, and it's a pleasure to recognize their efforts. So thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Vo. Councilwoman Wittes?
I would just like to remind everyone to please, if you haven't done so, to please vote. Your vote counts, and just wish everyone well, and please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wittes. Councilwoman Selly?
Yes, I'd just like to remind everybody, wear your mask and social distance, and happy Halloween to all. And if you haven't voted now, you better run and do so before it's too late. Thank you.
Mayor Pallone? Thank you, Councilwoman Wittes.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to let everybody know, wish everybody a happy Halloween, and also that our Halloween guidelines have been posted on our social media and website. We've been asked, got quite a few calls. Please take a look to ensure that our city is a safe Halloween weekend. We also want to remind our residents, as some of the council members have already, but as you know, our COVID-19 numbers are rising in our area, around the state and our country. Please continue to wear your mask, social distance, and to be as safe as possible at all times. Our Veterans Day ceremony will be on November 11th at 11 a.m. at City Hall, as it always is. It will be outside. And again, if you plan to attend, please wear a mask and social distance. A reminder to our residents that we do have a voter mailbox, a ballot box outside City Hall that's on the side of it's right at the bottom of the ramp near the police station. Our new Arts and Cultural Center at the Historic Bank of America building is almost complete. Thank you to DPW for all of their hard work, and we look forward to showing this to the public soon. And finally, tonight, Council and we hired Dominic Saldita, our new Public Safety Director, who will be starting officially on December 1st, and we'll do a more formal introduction for him at a later date. So again, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Halloween and a great week, and thank you for watching this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Pallone. And I want to thank everybody for watching also. And as my fellow councilman already said, don't forget to vote. Happy Halloween, stay safe. And I want to thank Will for doing a great job with this Zoom thing that we're doing. We're all new with this. And Will, thank you. And good night, everyone. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.
Good night.